open wide.
Ready?
Here comes your chunk of Trump.
It's my favorite food.
With your first bite, here's Mark Thompson.
I have a feeling it's going to be beautiful.
It is a very, very rough day for Republicans in Washington. Why? They're going to be in charge of everything. But Donald Trump is angry. Republicans were no-shows for these judicial appointment confirmations, and those no-shows, just not being there, have helped Democrats in judicial nominations getting through. These judicial nominees are moving through despite Trump's wishes to vanquish the Democrats at every turn. And Republicans are angry at Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance, along with others, for being absent from the chamber of the Senate, which allowed Senate Democrats to ram through key Biden judicial nominees.
And they're still doing it. The Republicans are trying to use procedural movements to slow this down, but Democrats are like, nope, we've got 44, and we are going to try to get them all seated.
So with J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio out of the chamber, now they're scurrying back to the chamber today because Daddy Trump is saying, hey, get back there. You know, we've got an agenda, and you guys are asleep at the wheel. Of course, Kim will tell you where they were. Why weren't they in the chamber, Kim?
They were in various places. I know J.D. Vance was at the side of President-elect Trump trying to pick a new FBI director.
Thank you. They were not there in Washington because Trump had asked them, at least J.D. Vance, to be with him. So apparently the Wall Street Journal angry at all the Republicans for handing the Democrats a lame duck victory. They wrote that the confirmation of this appellate court nominee is now going to allow that appellate court nominee to enjoy a lifetime appointment to the federal bench because Republicans couldn't get their full team on the field. So that is something that Trump is very angry about, and yet he will obviously have control of nominations and control of the confirmation process once he ascends into the presidency. More important, once he's there in Washington nominating to a GOP-controlled Senate. Meantime, stand by. I'm into my Trump, my chunk of Trump list of nominations.
Oh.
His latest, it's tough to keep up with it.
Up. Yep.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Oz has been nominated.
Thanks, Oprah.
Yeah, that is...
What?
Yeah. Dr. Oz, a former television talk show host, heart surgeon, he's not nobody. When I look at him in the panoply of crap that is being thrown toward nominations in Washington, I have to basically say, well, he's a doctor. I don't know.
Yeah, a doctor who sells snake oil.
Well, he has tried to pitch a couple of, things that will maybe cures that maybe not measure up to, the scientific method in terms of rigorous evaluation. But it is said that Dr. Oz will be a leader in incentivizing disease prevention, so we get the best results in the world for every dollar we spend on health care in our great country. Those are the words of Donald Trump. He will also cut waste and fraud within our country's most expensive government agency, which is a third of our nation's health care spend and a quarter of our entire national budget. If they really let him go after that, it would mean that you'd get, I think, some huge reductions in Medicare. You'd have to. I don't see any other way to, and I think that that's kind of code for that. That's Dr. Oz, who is now into the mix. But it is not just Dr. Oz. There is a new NATO ambassador. And this new NATO ambassador, Matthew Whitaker, I don't really know much about Matthew Whitaker, but Kim does. Kim, tell us about Matthew Whitaker.
I was reading a little bit about Matthew Whitaker today, and he is apparently a not a guy who has a lot of government experience, but he was at the helm of World Patent Marketing. This is a company that was fined $26 million a few years ago, being accused of bilking customers out of millions of dollars based on phony promises. So here's a little bit of what World Patent Marketing is known for. They tried to sell people theoretical time travel commodities tied to the price of Bitcoin. That sounds dubious. They tried to sell folks a masculine toilet. Okay. It's built for well-endowed men.
Wow.
Yeah,
What
his
a-
special potty. And they also tried to hawk a Sasquatch doll whose promotional video asserted to have DNA evidence that Bigfoot is real.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I mean, all I can say is that
Yeah.
when it comes to NATO and now beginning to take the world stage, maybe he has a whole new market for many of those things to which you've referred.
Yeah, nice guy. He's going to take the Bigfoot and the well-endowed toilet to the world.
Yes, and maybe
Yeah.
that's what America will become, my friends. A little bit more of the marketing the American lifestyle, which is the special toilet and the new word about Bigfoot being real.
It seems
Meantime,
like the
I'm sorry.
qualifications, it seems like the qualifications for Trump's cabinet picks are one of three things. Either you're a sex offender, you have some crazy stuff you're trying to sell that makes absolutely no sense in the world, or you're a TV personality.
Well,
Don't talk to me that way.
I,
That's
again, can tell, Kim, you're not a fan, but
No.
that's one way to look at it. Maybe these people are the outsiders with the refreshing new look at government that we need. Now, let's get on to Linda McMahon. She is his pick for education secretary. As you know, the Department of Education was earmarked in at least talks during the lead up to the election. It was being talked about as a government agency that would likely be eliminated. So I don't know if that's still on the agenda, but Linda McMahon is his pick for education secretary. She is, and this is the other thing, I thought Kim was going to mention this because this is typically the way it goes. Donors, wealthy donors, are oftentimes given positions in government. Now, usually, wealthy donors are given ambassadorships. The true neophyte ambassadorships that go to wealthy donors are, to countries where they're not necessarily going to be in the heart of the action. It's sort of a ceremonial-ish post, but that's not the case for the Trump administration. Linda McMahon, wealthy owner, shown here with, I believe, her ex-husband. Are they still together? I think that they've broken up, Albert, but you can...
Google it.
Okay, check it out.
I'll probably have to confirm that, but yes.
Okay, but anyway, she is actually going to, having put a lot of money into the Trump campaign and been a big supporter, she's going to be given this education secretary post, and she'll be a big part of his cabinet. And in a statement, he said, as Secretary of Education, Linda will fight tirelessly to expand, quote, choice to every state in America and empower parents to make the best education decisions for their families. That's Linda McMahon. Now, meantime, Donald Trump is looking for the new FBI director. Yeah, still hasn't quite settled on anyone, but now I get word that Kash Patel is in contention to be named FBI director. Again, this is all as a result of both a search and then interviews. Trump has to sit down the same way he did with James Comey and establish loyalty and that everybody's on the same page. He is keeping Kash Patel in the running to be the next FBI director, according to two people who are familiar with this matter. And he conducted interviews, did Trump, with Kash Patel and other candidates at Mar-a-Lago on Monday night. The existence of the interviews made public in a post from J.D. Vance, who was then smacked down and told, get that post off, and now it's been deleted, apparently revealed that there is a photo finish underway for FBI director. Trump has a special interest in the FBI, of course, because he fired James Comey, as I was just mentioning, in 2017, because Comey wouldn't close the investigation into possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. And then he talked about disloyalty from Christopher Wray, the FBI director who succeeded Comey. So Patel's continued position as a top candidate for this spot makes clear that Trump wants a loyalist in key national security and law enforcement positions. And Patel has that. I think he passes that litmus test. He's frequently rallied against the deep state. He comes from some of the deepest kinds of loyalties that you've seen around Trump. That is to say, he's not just on the Trump bus now. He's been a stalwart loyalist for some time. And he's made inroads by repeatedly demonstrating over several years his loyalty and articulating plans to restructure the FBI, including dismantling the firewall between the White House and the FBI. One of the most respected aspects to American government is that the Justice Department and FBI, investigative agencies involved in law enforcement, have always had that firewall between the White House and those agencies. The wall may be going away. And finally, we'll get to Matt Gaetz, but I will wait on Matt Gaetz. Should I wait on him, Albert, or should I do a little something on him now and then have Brother Rothman opine on Matt Gaetz? I'll leave it to you, Albert.
Yeah, that sounds good. Bring it up and we'll have Rothman respond.
Okay. So let me round this out then with the deal on Matt Gaetz. Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee have asked the FBI to provide them the file on Attorney General nominee Matt Gaetz. Gaetz under investigation for sexual misconduct and illicit drug use until he resigned from the House a day before the Ethics Committee report was to be released. FBI Director Christopher Wray is being asked to provide the committee with the files so that the committee can fully, with their constitutional duty, vet Matt Gaetz for the country's highest law enforcement position. There's a picture of Matt Gaetz, obviously captured between frat parties. The grave public allegations against Mr. Gaetz speak directly to his fitness to serve as the chief law enforcement officer for the federal government, says the committee's letter. The unanswered questions regarding Mr. Gaetz's alleged conduct are particularly significant given that his associate, Joel Greenberg, we've talked about him on the show before, he's now serving time, pleaded guilty to the sex trafficking charge for which Gaetz was also investigated. The House Ethics Committee is meeting today to discuss whether to release its report on Gaetz, despite the fact that House Speaker Mike Johnson wants to bury it. Now, there's one thing I want... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just some new information about this. There's the chair of the ethics panel has now just said he's got some reservations about releasing this report on Gaetz because it's not done yet.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Got to be finished for us to see it. See.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand it was really a rush job. It's taken them, 6 years to put the report to get together. So, yeah, I can understand that they might need a little more time. Now, I wanted to show you the one thing that you can add to the pile of other things, in addition to witness accounts, regarding Matt Gaetz and the paying and trafficking, potentially, this underage girl. Now, by the way, this, to be fair to Gaetz, and I really do want to be fair to Gaetz and just fair to the conversation, these payments that are shown here, payments, again, it's been redacted to whom those payments actually went. They are for amounts between $300 and $600, and I'm not sure, and we can't be sure, that they went to an underage girl. So that may be not fair to Gaetz. I want to make it clear. She may be of age. If you'll note the Venmo notes, which are just one column over from the right, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see $300 car deductible, $200 gift, $417 reimbursement, $300 love you, $650 travel,
Love you too.
$250 high, just HI, and $420 joy, exclamation mark. So you begin to see, I don't know exactly what's going on here, but love you, hi, and joy added up to over $1,000, and the entire thing added up to over $4,000 just earmarked to that one person. But it continues. If you look at the notes on this second page, there is $250 for being my friend, $400 for being awesome, $500 here is the only note, $500 again, reimbursement, $200 just because. And then the ones I'm not reading, they're just emojis. There's a gift emoji, there's a, and then $400 flight plus extra for you. So when you look at those all add up to over $6,000 to that person. You begin to see that there might have been something going on. Again, this establishes a pattern. It doesn't, and I stress this one more time, although I just did mention it, it doesn't mean something illegal is going on, because look, you're allowed to send money to some woman to get her to meet you in New York, to go to a Broadway show, whatever, reimburse her for expenses. I mean, honestly, I understand he may be married or whatever the story is, but I don't know the situation. It doesn't actually break any kind of legal restrictions, any of this stuff. It does, however, establish that there might have been things going on that sort of match witness accounts and some of these other things that are likely in that ethics committee report, which will be leaked. I think already there's a sign that there are hackers who've gotten into it, and that's how we know a lot of this information. That's the word on Matt Gaetz. And again, the House Ethics Committee is meeting today to discuss the release of that report.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know you're thinking it. Matt Gaetz was having a lot more fun than you were. I know. Well, I mean,
you have never Venmo'd me, not even once, to say you are awesome or thanks for being a friend. I don't think I've ever received a Venmo entry for that.
I will say this: Matt Gaetz continues to be completely 100% supported by Donald Trump. And I say that because Trump has been repeatedly asked, are you still with him? Is he still your guy, despite the fact that he's so controversial? And Trump has said, yeah, he's my guy. And as I told you yesterday, I think Trump may get the lion's share of these nominees through, maybe even Matt Gaetz. That's your chunk of Trump.
That's it for this edition.
Well, I really enjoyed it.
But make sure to join us again next time
I think you might want to listen. There's nothing wrong with listening.
for another chunk of Trump.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.